It's Sports Talk with K-Walk and E. Scott, and we read it right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. The sports analyst that covers it all brings it all every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Sometimes they go into overtime. You don't want to miss these two former college football athletes, the Who Dat and Niner Gang, Wednesdays at 7 p.m.
Bang, bang, Niner Gang.
It's Sports Talk with K-Walk and E. Scott, and we read it right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. It is Wednesday, 7 p.m. So that means you are tuning in to Sports Talk with K Walk and E. Scott right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for that. I lost my connection there, so I apologize. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, we got another great one dialed up for you this evening. E. Scott's got another great one. He kicks it off with the HBCU talk. Again, he has another great one dialed up for us this evening. Going to get into some college football. A lot has happened with college football, and we're going to dive into that. So many different rule changes, ladies and gentlemen. Can't wait to dive into that. Get these guys' thoughts and opinions on that. Also, going to get into some DeShaun Watson, Cleveland Browns as well. Time permitting, I want to get into my Miami Heat. They made a change or made an addition. Want to get these guys' thoughts and opinions on that and what it means for the Miami Heat, where they rank in the NBA East, if you will. Also, got our question of the week, our top five um, duo announcers, sports related. That could be anyone, ladies and gentlemen, any sport. We're going to dive into all that, plus our knuckleheads of the week, and of course, E. Scott's entertainment segment at the end of the show. So with that being said, let's bring in Mr. E. Scott. Mr. E. Scott, how you doing this evening, my brother?
Our Papa freaks out the honeys, dummies, Playboy bunnies. Those want money. Those the ones I like, but they don't get Nathan but penetration unless it smells like sanitation. What up, K-Walk?
What's going on, brother? All is well. All is well. Got our special guest, Mr. Jason Collins, in the building as well. Mr. Collins, how you doing this evening, brother?
Been a long time. I shouldn't have left you. Well, I got a strong rhyme to step to. Think of how many week shows you slept through. Time's up. I'm sorry I kept you. What's going on, fellas? Good to be back.
The God MC. Rock him.
All right, good stuff. A lot of old school. They be bringing a lot of old school, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. You never know what they're going to come with, but they're going to come with it nonetheless. All right, let's jump right into it. E. We got a plethora on the board, and I hope we can get it all in. But nonetheless, I'll turn it over to you. Kick it off with our HBCU talk. Take it away, brother.
This year, was it today, this week? It kind of ties into what's been going on in the news lately, where
Yeah.
you got guys. Well, the big story is you got a guy who was actually drafted, played in the preseason game, and now he wants to enter the transfer portal. This one is kind of like an offshoot of that. We got some brothers over at Jackson State who trying, since the NCAA made that ruling about the 50 of eligibility, because they missed out on the COVID year, so they currently have a lawsuit against the NCAA, but they're running out of time because the game is Saturday, August 29th. They're trying to play in Jackson State's season opener. It's linebacker Reed Pulliam, defensive back BJ Washington, and defensive lineman Timon Wells and Kazaris Boy. They've all filed a lawsuit, trying to get a TRO or an injunction, if you will, because my man from Cleveland won his injunction, Nate Rambert, and saying he can enter the transfer portal. But since then, and I know we'll get into this later, but both the SEC and the Big Ten have come out, saying that they won't allow this to happen. But again, like I said, these four brothers, their situation is a little different because none of them actually got drafted or played in a preseason game. They're just looking to get that fifth year eligibility back that we've
Yeah.
been talking about for a couple of months here on the show since the courts made that ruling. But again, today's the 26th and the game is Saturday the 29th. So it's going to be interesting to see how this thing unfolds.
Yeah, yeah, without question. And when you look at it, I think this is definitely different than what we've been hearing in the last couple of days up until today, as far as, you touched on it a little bit. And again, we'll dive into that. We'll roll right into that after this. But I think when the NCAA had the 5 for 5, this was kind of what I guess they had in mind, and plus the new junction that came out regarding this, that the class of 2022 was granted a fifth year. Now, if they didn't have their fifth year, obviously they can go back. I'm thinking they'll win this. I'm thinking they'll win this particular junction because, as you stated, they didn't, I don't think they signed with an agent. They didn't go to the NFL camp, or they definitely weren't on the NFL roster. So I think this particular lawsuit, I think, is going to fall into the player's favor. Now, I know there was one player that filed for a 6 year. I'm not sure how that's going to play out because, again, it was only a class of 2022 that was given this particular sanction, if you will. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But I think the guys that filed the lawsuit, or I don't want to call it a lawsuit, but the claim, the junction, to get that fifth year, I think they'll be all right, in my opinion. That's just my personal opinion. I didn't hear anything, ladies and gentlemen. So it's just my opinion, and just seeing how all of this is playing out up until this point, and what this rule means and what that rule means. It's just chaos, just, for a lack of a better word. But Jay, your thoughts on these guys, filing for that fifth year or sixth year?
Yeah, I understand it, man. Like it's just a crazy time in college football, and obviously with some of the money that's being thrown around. Maybe even at some of these schools that aren't throwing around as much as maybe some of the Power Four, there's still a little bit of money to be made. So if you don't think you really have a legitimate chance to go to the NFL, but you think, hey, maybe I can come to college, and even if I'm only going to make 50,000 or
Right.
60,000, something like that, it's not a bad way to pick up 50 G's real quick and enjoy playing football for one more year. So I get it, man. But college football just feels like it's a bit of a mess right now.
Yeah, to say the least, man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got our good buddy Special K in the building. Special K, how you doing this evening, brother?
Man, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? It's a little wet down here, but I'm always dry. What's good, fellas?
All's good. All is well, man. You came at the right time, of course. You heard, you saw what E sent in the thread, and you heard a little bit of what we stated up until this point. But give us your thoughts and opinions on this.
I mean, like everything else, man, if it's within the rules, why not take advantage of it? You know what I mean? So if that's what the rules gonna be, and like I've said before, if I'm one of those players that I'm on the cusp, such as that guy that was going back to LSU that has now been blocked, supposedly or whatnot. I don't know if if that's a final ruling or how that's working out, but anyway, the last I saw that supposedly the SEC and Big Ten have come out to block it. So, but anyway, if I'm a guy like that, I was on the, you know, team or whatever, the preseason team or whatever. I got cut. You know what I mean? No other teams calling for me. Why not? If it's available for me. Now, something he threw in our chat, man, that I do agree with. But I'm a expound it a little bit. He said they should go to HBCUs.
Hmm.
With that thought, I came up with that they can't go to top level schools. You know what I mean? Like a school that, so say the top 25 is out now, right? So say, I just got cut last week, right? Any school and say, and I'm just throwing a number out there, say top 10 cannot acquire my services. You know what I mean? Now, I mean, I, most likely top 10 wouldn't need their services, but some ruling like that, or maybe that they have to play for second level and lower, you know what I mean? Something like that, I don't think a guy that was already on a pro training squad or whatnot, however what title you want to put on it, should be able to go and play for whoever is the top level schools. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because that
Yeah.
that's a little unfair. You know what I mean? But if they're coming back to play and say a Florida State right now who's not ranked acquires the services, I would say yes. You know what I mean? If they gonna throw 50, 100,000, whatever at this guy, for him
Hmm.
to come back and play for him, and in return, that helps this guy increase his draft stock or whatnot,
Yeah.
because he can go back into the draft. Why not? You know what I mean? It's within the rules. How do I feel about it? Just can't go to a top level school.
Yeah. That's a great point. But E, you wanna touch on that a little bit?
Well, yeah, no, and I get what Kay's saying, and I don't disagree. I just I know we got a segment on this coming up later, and I'll give my thoughts and opinions, when we get there, because I definitely have some. I will say this, um, I think this is going to be a much bigger problem in basketball than it is football. Because like Jay said it a couple weeks ago, I remember Jay said, hey, if I'm this, and this, I'll give it some thought. But if I'm this, and this, yeah, man, football hard. I'm not trying to do if most guys, just your average Joe, we will play basketball till we can't play no more. Football has a shelf life. I'm not talking about flag. I'm talking about tackle
Hmm.
contact football. No, that has a shelf life, and it runs out a lot quicker than that basketball shelf life. So, but yeah, the big thing here though was these guys. Kane, I get what you're saying, but these guys were a little different. None of them were on an NFL roster or drafted or anything like that. They just looking for that fifth year eligibility that was promised to them about a month or two ago, and they trying to get it by Saturday so they can play in Jackson State's season opener.
That's my bad. I missed that part of it.
Are you good?
But I've heard some of it because Florida State, we do have one of those players that's trying to do the same. I think it's a little crazy though, just knowing about his situation. Because first he was told no, Florida State moved on, then he's told yes. Okay, we put him on the team second string, and now here there's some more fight going on. So somebody make a damn decision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Make a decision, and if right or wrong, it is what it is through 26, and we can rehash at the end of 26. But let's get the season started, man. Like Jesus Christ, I'm tired of talking about it.
I hear that, man. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different, but it's in the same token, it's something that we're going to talk about, and it leads us into, what you were talking about earlier, Kay, and what we're going to everything comes, but it's a little different here because of these guys. They weren't on a roster or NFL roster. They didn't. I don't think they signed with an agent. They weren't in the combine or anything like that. So these are guys who ran out of eligibility. was told that the 2022 class was going to get in a fifth year. So that's what these guys were doing. What they were doing, whether they were, internship or working wherever they were doing, after their college career was ended and it wasn't on an NFL team, that's what they were doing. They hear about this, and I'm with them. I'll jump right back into it as well. I'll go right back into, you know, playing football. Maybe you pick up a class here. You just have to go to one class. Per day or one every other day, whatever the case may be, and then you'll play football for the rest of the for the rest of the time. But
I
I
mean,
like it. Go ahead, Ken.
I still agree that if it's within the rule, it's within the rule. However, um, as a whole, man, if you're that guy that you didn't go to the draft and none of that other stuff, you just asking for a fifth year to improve your stock, whatever the case may be. However, you played for a year. Yeah, no, go and get. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, he need that spray, that BB Gone spray. You know what I'm saying? Like, you played 4 years, partner. Yeah, I mean, you ain't do it in 4 years. What another year gonna get you?
Well,
Now, if
here's the
if
thing.
for whatever if for whatever reason under the rules, and I know it done been amended a little bit, but if for whatever reason under the rules you might have played 4 games your freshman year, and they're counting that as a fourth year. If you on the fence, I don't mind. But if you just a guy that's just trying to play, man, go on get. You ain't doing nothing taking up the spot. You know what I mean? Like if there's no future for you, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm telling you, don't get as a coach.
It's like a lot of things in life, Kay. At some point you gotta look at it and be like, well, if it ain't happened by now, it's probably not gonna happen.
You
And
know what
that's
I mean?
especially when it comes to athletics.
Yeah. Now, if you're on the fence though, if you one of them guys where you getting a little smoke, you just didn't get drafted, you had a little noise and free agency or whatever, but you also heard that you can go back and get a fifth year. And so you didn't go the free agent route. Yeah, I don't mind. You know what I'm saying? But again, if you one of them guys that's just trying to play, man,
Now, I get what you're saying, Kay, but at the same time, I'm thinking about, hey, listen, they love the game, and to ease earlier point that they can only play the game for so long. So maybe they're awarded an additional year. When they thought their career was done playing, playing organized ball, playing contact sports. I know there are semi-pro leagues out there, arena and all that stuff, but maybe they weren't good enough, but they were starters. I'm not sure what those dudes were like, as far as the guys mentioned. I'm assuming they were starters on their team. I'm assuming, they
Castellanos was a star.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. But these guys like that, and if you could prolong your career, then why not? Then why not do it? Especially if the NCAA says, listen, we give you one more year. You have one more year. You could use it, or you don't. But I don't have a problem
Let,
with
let
doing
me
it.
throw let me
Go
throw
ahead.
something in there on Castellanos, man. I know we gotta go, but he they played the courts with him to the point to where Florida State moved on. You know what I mean? So now he's coming back to be a backup. Like in that situation, man, I'm gone. Like if I'm not the starter from the gate, like what am I doing? I'm not helping myself.
Yeah,
Well,
go ahead.
there's gonna have to be a check attached to it. I
That
mean,
too.
we
That too.
we not we not. I know K just mentioned love of the game. No, dog, it ain't that much love out there. No, we not doing it for free. There's got to be some sort of monetary compensation in this.
Well, I mean, he wanted to play. He petitioned early enough to try to play. They just took a long time to come back with a ruling. You know what I mean? But Florida State, did what they were supposed to do. They moved on. You know what I mean? And now he said, okay, now I'll be a backup. No, man. Go find one of the HBCUs.
I think the thing though, fellas, is that these guys that he's talking about when he opened, like they're not really asking for anything extra. They're just asking for what everybody else is getting.
Yeah,
Like the
what they promised. You're right,
the
Jay.
5 for 5 rule is in place. They're just saying, hey, let me get my fifth year
Exactly.
just like everybody else. And I also wouldn't necessarily just assume that everybody had to have a check attached to it, man. I have seen so many guys on a football team who knew they were never going to sniff the field, were basically just getting beat up at practice on the
Yeah.
scout team, but they wore that jersey with pride, man.
Yes.
So
That's
I
what I'm
would
talking about.
say don't discount the fact that there are a ton of guys out there that just love being a part of something. And they would go back and do it just to run out of the tunnel on Saturdays. So yes,
Yeah.
there's certain guys that want the check, want the money, all that, of course. But there's a whole nother set of guys that just do it out of love and they just want to be a part of the team. They know they're never going to play, but they just love the brotherhood. And I would not overlook that.
The
You
walk-ons. They
right,
call
Jay,
call the
but
walk-ons.
but we talking college, man. You taking a spot from a kid that is trying to get into college or whatever else. So if you that guy, you know what I'm saying, as a coach, yeah, man, I love you being around the team and all that other stuff, but I can't give you a roster spot. You know what I
But I
mean?
guess I guess I guess my question to that would be with the rule, because you said, hey, if it's the rule is 5 for 5 now.
5 for 5.
You get
Yeah.
5 years. These guys are just saying, hey, can I have my fifth year? That's really all they're saying. So to me, I don't really look at it as you're taking a spot from somebody else. They're just saying, I want what's rightfully mine. And college has now extended their rosters now. I think they're going up to like 115 guys now. So I think
That's
there's
crazy.
plenty if guys really want to get in. I think with the 115 man roster, there's plenty of room for guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask y'all a question real quick to the same topic we on, right? Even if I'm eligible for a fifth year, I still got to make the team. And they might not want me. You know what I mean? Does the school have to give that player that fifth year? Or can that school say, hey, man, yeah, man, we love you, but nah.
I mean,
Well,
I
I
would
think
think
we're
so.
confusing two different things right now.
Yeah,
Because,
but
like, yeah, what I
but
led off with and what Jay just said, we're talking about guys who just want that fifth year, K, and you kind of talking about the guys that are coming back from being cut from the NFL team, and which, K Walk about to take us there in a second. And so I think it'll all come together.
yeah, for sure. And again, and these guys, these guys that you were talking about, just to stay on the topic for a little bit longer. Those guys were already at Jackson State and they played and they were starters. Is that safe to say? Or
Yes.
okay, so that and in that case as well. But to Jay's point as well, if these guys are awarded a fifth year, then they should they should get it whether regardless of where they fit at on the team, whether they're a starter, whether they're a third string, fourth string, or just a guy just putting on the uniform and, like, to Jay's point, just love the camaraderie, the brotherhood, if you will. And then you have those guys, if they're not welcome there, to your point, Kay, maybe they can transfer somewhere else where they would be welcome, and can compete for a spot if that's what they're really trying to do. But yeah, so good stuff there, guys. Good stuff.
I
So
just
let's
think, real
go
quick,
ahead.
I just think it's a situation where we're kind of talking about the same thing, but something different
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah,
together too. But
Different scenarios.
yeah. It'll. I think as we talk about it more about the other type of situation, it'll all come together because, like one point, K made, like in the Florida State situation, it could be the same thing in Jackson State. The team
hmm
may have moved on. I mean, I understand you four guys, you go to court, you want this injunction, you want to be on the team, but hey, man, as a team, this took too long. We moved on.
yeah.
It's over. I mean, we like to see other people. So I mean, so, but yeah, we'll get into it.
Yeah, and let's do that right now. So that's a great segue there, E, unless you want to close it out on a different note.
No,
But
no, no. We're good.
okay,
We can merge on.
cool. All right. So with all that being said, let's talk about the Big Ten and the SEC, because there was a junction file saying that that players that are currently on the NFL roster or got cut or was in a training camp, they were eligible to go back to a college program, whether it be the previous program or another program. So now, with that being said, the Big Ten immediately shut that down and said, "Listen, we're not having that. No player is going to be no player who was, on an NFL roster is allowed to come back and play for a Big Ten school." Shortly thereafter, SEC said the same thing, did the same thing. So now, they're not allowing that, but that leaves, the ACC, that leaves the Big East, and what's the other conference I'm missing? Oh, the Big 12, the Pac-12, whatever they're called now. But so with that being said, let's stay right there and kind of touch on what you wanted to touch on in a little bit. But your thoughts on your thoughts on this, and do the other power conferences fall suit as well? Follow the Big Ten and the SEC league.
Ultimately, I think they will, because if, let's say, the ACC doesn't agree with this and they start getting who whatever in a few years, then SEC and Big Ten gonna have to go back to that too. Kind of like with
Hmm.
the transfer portal. You know
Hmm.
how coaches were against it at first, not as a rule, but they just didn't like it. And now even Krzyzewski, before he retired, and everybody but Dabu them fell in line with that. But my overall point is, something is this confusing. They always say follow the money.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I did. Now, again, this is nothing official, not a Woj bomb or anything. But if you think about it, K-Walk, it's really all about money. And the reason I say that, if you go to college, K-Walk, you were Temple University, say you left Temple and you went and worked for IBM and for a 500 company. And then one day you decided, you know what? This ain't really working out at IBM. I'm gonna go on back to Temple and further my education. It ain't a person in the world that will tell you you couldn't do that, and it wouldn't even be mentioned. It wouldn't
Right. I got you.
lie, because you went to college, you worked in the professional world, you decided to go back to college. But now you don't generate the kind of money that a professional athlete does. And athletes, if they go play in the NFL, which is a job, and then they decide to leave that job and go back to school and do the job, all hell breaks loose. Because now you're looking at how the money's distributed, level of competition. It's the whole thing. And you're not allowed to do it. And I'm with them. I'm not defending the position that they should be. Like I put in the chat, I know my take on this is hypocritical. Yeah, I don't think you should be able to go be on a practice squad, NFL squad, playing a preseason game, and then come back and play D1. No, I think you're out there. Yeah. Once you get an agent, it should be like it used to be. Once you get an agent, that ship is sailed. But now I do think you should be able to come back and go to an HBCU. No, Eve, why do you think that? Because I'm an HBCU love, and I love chaos. But yeah, I mean, because some of the best HBCU seasons is when we get that one dude that went to a D1 school, had all the talent in the world, but he turned out to be a knucklehead or couldn't make the academic requirements. He comes to an HBO or HBCU. Oh, it's pandemonium. And so, yeah, I'm here for that. And again, I know that's not going to be a popular take, and I have no way to defend it. I'm just telling you how I feel.
I get what you saying, E, but yeah, I don't, if they're not going to be allowed to play D1, they're not going to be allowed to play the HBCU. To be honest with you, no, and there's no slight to the HBCUs, ladies and gentlemen, by any stretch of imagination, but we know that competition level is different. If they're saying that, listen, you were
It,
on it.
it's well, okay. Well, the reason I say that, you know, back in the day before the transfer portal,
Oh
if you
yeah, I got you.
on the D1, you had to sit out a year, but you could go to a HBCU and play immediately.
Yeah, but that'll kill that one eligible year they have left, and I don't think those guys that were on NFL roster want to come back to an HBCU, especially if there's no NIL money there. If there's the NIL money there, I don't think they really care where they go, to be honest with you. But Jay, your thoughts on that?
So, a couple things. Number one, like I know there's a lot of hoopla in the media about this, but this is really just a 1 year problem. Because all these guys that are trying to come back, they're those same 2022 guys that are saying, hey, we want to get in on this 5 for 5. So next year and the year, none of this will be an issue after this year. The other thing I would say is I understand why a guy would want to come back, right? If you get cut,
Yeah.
I get why you would want to. but I just can't get my mind around it, man. When we were coming up, if you got an agent, if you took a lunch from someone, like if you took a penny, it was over for you. So for me, I just can't get my mind around guys that were in NFL training camps
Yeah,
coming back to play college football. So I actually agree with the SEC and the Big Ten saying, look, we're not going to do this. It's just too messy. But look, I blame the NCAA. Like, if they would
yeah,
have got this 5-for-5 in place earlier, then some of these guys may not have gone to the draft. They might have said, I'm going to hang around another year and try to improve my draft stock. But because nothing was set up in time, they felt like they had no choice. So, look, usually I'm on the side of the players and all these kinds of things. But I don't know, man. I just don't think guys that were just playing in an NFL preseason game should be playing college football next Saturday. There's something about that just doesn't feel right to me.
gotcha. And Kay, let me ask you this. Let me throw this caveat in there, if you will. Now, Big Ten shut it down. SEC shuts it down. Excuse me. But now again, you have those other conferences out there and those other programs out there. Why would they say? Why would they follow suit when they know they can get some of those teams can get those players that are coming off of those rosters? But just add caveat. But what say you about the whole thing in its entirety?
Well, I think the reason the other conferences didn't shut them down because they need attention. You know what I mean? I mean, the Big Ten, the Big Ten has won two, three of the last four, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. So, you
Man, what?
know, hey man, I ain't asked you for that.
No, no, I'm
You
saying the
know,
last year and a half. I was up.
I tried to downplay it. You
Oh,
know,
my bad.
you over there giving them their clout. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to downplay it. You know, Jesus. Uh, anyway, uh, Um, yeah, so I mean, it's good for them to shut it down. I mean, they don't need no attention. You know what I mean? They don't need all that because whatever teams, I mean, for instance, as soon as the guy from Cleveland was gonna go to LSU, that came across my phone breaking news. You know what I mean? So, um, other conferences, they need that attention. Now, will it happen? I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be like hundreds of players going back and all that kind of thing, but um I could see why they're not shutting it down. But I kind of stand on what I said earlier, and I ain't gonna drag it out. But I think it should be lower levels though. You know what I mean? Like you can't play D1, especially if you're coming from a pro squad. You have to go down to a level, no, lower level to make that team better. That's how you make your draft start better. It's a gamble, yes. That's the whole idea of it. I'm gonna throw one other little breaking news, I guess, to something I spoke about earlier about Castellanos being one of those guys sort of in the same boat. Well, he has transferred. As of 4 hours ago, he transferred to Texas Tech.
I say. Yeah.
Yeah. So, there you go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh,
So I don't know what that's going to look like at Texas Tech because I imagine they had a starter in place right now too. So I don't know. You know what I mean? But he's out of Florida State. He has transferred to Texas Tech,
right.
I guess for his last year, however that's going to work out.
Yeah, and when you again, when you look at this, man, and again, we call it, we have to call it chaos. I just don't see any other word to use to describe what's going on in this NCAA. I mean, there was so many different when this all happened in the beginning. I remember the beginning when with people talking about the NIL and the NCAA to jump in. And NCAA, when all this happened, the NIL, the transfer portal, the NCAA kind of sat back and said, "Okay, we're going to sit back. This is what you guys asked for, but no one's regulating it. No one's regulating. We got one judge saying it's okay for everybody to go back. These 20 players or whatever number that it is, and then you got the conference saying no, you can't come in, and then you got another conference saying no, you can't come in." Then you got other conferences that are welcoming him in. And in Takei's point, then you got a transfer from Florida State to Texas Tech, and there's no regulation, and NCAA is sitting back and say, listen. You guys wanted us to handle it. You guys wanted us out of it. We were trying to, instill some type of control, some type of regulation, but you guys kept getting on us. Now we're saying, okay, look, now you guys figure it out. Now there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. No one knows who's running this thing right now. No one knows who's. Everyone wants their hand in the pot right now, and this is why it's chaos. Because who's NCAA is their own entity. Then you got this judge from this state, judge from this state. Then you got commissioners from this conference doing their things. It's just who's regulating this thing. And NCAA is sitting back and saying, "Listen, you guys asked for this. This is what you got now. This is what you got now." So, but
Here,
with that being, go ahead.
another problem, K-Walk, and we haven't really addressed this. This whole thing is setting up to be a house of cards because I remember when the transfer portal first came, into prominence. The first one of the things they said was, okay, now you got to try and recruit within your own team to get guys to come back, and that really hurt. The recruiting of high school students because now you got to recruit. You can recruit your own guys to come back, or you can jump into the portal and get a guy who's already established to come.
Yeah.
Because I know I think it was you or Jay that mentioned you about to expand the rosters. Yeah, but if you don't expand the number of scholarships you can give, that really doesn't matter because if I'm a dad and you've been recruiting my son since he was 10th grade, whatever. And then, maybe he got hurt his senior year in high school. And so now he's not at the top of your recruitment list, but he does make it. He gets a scholarship. But now you're recruiting people out of the portal, you're recruiting your own team. Now you got guys who went to an NFL training camp and you're recruiting them too now. And so you come and tell me, Mr. Scott, well, yeah, we know we offered you a scholarship, but yeah, we got to go ahead and pull that because we can't do it. It's like I said, it's stacking up to be a house of cards because at some point this whole thing is going to crumble down. To your point, K-Walk, without regulation, there has to be some rules in place, or else it is not going to work. A society without rules is chaos.
Yeah, that's exactly, and that's it. There's no other word to describe what's going on right now other than the word you just used. Jay, let me ask you this, Jay. We talk about there's no regulation. No one really has a hold on the final decision. There's decisions coming from every angle, if you will. How do we, or how does the NCAA, how does college football, college sports? I know we're talking about college football right now, but it does pertain to all sports, collegiate sports. But Jay, how do we get to the point where there's one final say, there's one judge? I mean, because it just seems like we're saying don't pay no attention to the man behind the curtain type deal. Who is, for lack of a better term, the Wizard of Oz?
Yeah, okay, well, the only thing I think is going to solve this problem is time. Because the truth is, at this time next year, there won't be any chaos around the 5-for-5 rule. Everybody will know I got 5 years to play. That's it. There won't be guys coming back trying to get more time. So that's going to take care of itself.
Okay.
Even the transfer portal has gotten better. Like it used to be a spring window and a fall. Like now there's just one window to transfer. So even though it's still a little crazy, they've made some adjustments to that. So I think they're on the right path. But the issue is like the NCAA was so far behind the times. Like if you think about like when we were there, okay, well, they should have been paying us way back in the 90s, you know? Now they're just coming around to that. So anytime you go through major change, it's going to feel chaotic. But I really think time is going to be the answer. And within the next year or two, I think most of these things are going to work out. I do have one question though, because I need E or K to explain this idea to me about they can come back, but they can't go to a big school. Like you got to go
I'm saying, Jay.
well, you gotta go lower level. I don't understand that, fellas. Like, if I just got cut and I want to go back, I'm going where the biggest bag is. I'm not going lower level and playing for no money. So help me understand this argument.
Well, you saw what I put in the chat that my take was irrational. I, I wasn't expecting for it to make sense. I'm not saying this should be a hard, fast rule because of this to this. I said I'm being hypocritical. I don't agree with you, Jay. I don't think they should be able to come back and play at all. However, I will accept them at an HBCU. That's all I'm saying. I don't expect for it to make sense. It doesn't. It don't even make sense to me. I'm just saying, hey, dog, I know they say you.
Like something I would say to
I
myself.
said, hey, dog, I know you tried to go to LSU and they told you no. But right across town, we got Southern A&M University. We got something right here. Hey man, you come over here and be the man. You can start look, even if you go to LSU, you're gonna spend most of your time over here anyway. So you might as well play over here. No, it's not rational. It doesn't make sense, Jade. I can't make you understand it because it's crazy. I'm simply just saying, we got a spot for you over here.
Jay, you know what's funny about that, Jay? Because I say stuff like that to myself all the time, and I'd be damned if I would ever say it to anyone other than myself, let alone come on here and sports talk with these guys.
Hold on, no. Hey, I wanted y'all to know. Yes, I'm against it as a staff, regular labeling crew, but we'll take you over to Grand State University. You can, we got and
Hey,
Jay, to your
fair
He,
point, Jay, to your
enough.
point, it's not free. We got a bag for you. I mean, it's not nearly the bag you could have got, but hey, man, look. We get you some free chicken over at the local chicken spot and get you covered. Expand your meal plan. You know, hey, we got something for you.
Mm.
ladies and gentlemen, he almost made that make sense. He almost made that sound rational, ladies and gentlemen, because he believed it. He knew it wasn't rational, but he kept going with it and made it almost sound rational.
Remember,
But
hey, if you remember my text,
yeah, you
okay,
did say, yeah, you do. I
what
know.
you
I'm saying.
saying? Oh, this is going to be a hypocritical text.
Yeah, you did say that, and you doubled down on it. But the funny thing about it is, that's something that I would say to myself. I was like, I ain't even gonna send it. Like, there's so many things that I say to myself. I was like, nah, I'm not even gonna present this to the fellas. I'm not even gonna do it. But you could get away with that. You can get away with that. But Kay, any final thoughts on this before we move on? Do you have any
Well,
solutions to this?
I'm irrational. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I think, cause see, I look at it like this, right? If you come and bite because they got this 5th year rule or whatever, you got cut from an NFL roster, right? And you come and bite for what, 50,000? You can go make that in the UFL. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So now you can't play for no D1. Your D1 is
Yeah.
UFL. They go get it over there. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? If you coming back to the NCAA, you got to play for these lower levels. Go over there and get your money and show everybody you worth being in the NFL because you made that team that much better.
Hmm. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, I love it, ladies and gentlemen. Entertaining as I expected it to be. All right, let's switch gears here on this, and I want to talk some DeShaun Watson here. Yeah, I'll start with you on this one, and we know what's been going on. Sean Watson has come out and said that I had a clip that I was going to play, but since Deshaun Watson wants to apologize, I'm not going to play that clip. But nonetheless, it started off where Deshaun Watson after Sunday's or Saturday's preseason game, he was booed in his press conference. He stated that it was disrespectful by the fan base to boo him. He know it's not about the performance; it's more personal than it is about the performance. He also stated that the last time he was on that field, he tore his Achilles, and that same fan base cheered for him because he got hurt. Now he since then apologized for those words, and also since then he's been named the starter for the Cleveland Browns. A lot of people are taking heat. A lot of giving Todd Monken a lot of heat because they felt like Shador Sanders is the route that the Cleveland Browns front office wanted to take, but Todd Monken ultimately made that decision to start Deshaun Watson. Your thoughts on this whole I don't want to call it a fiasco, but this whole situation with Deshaun, does he deserve to be the quarterback? And was his initial reaction to the crowd booing him was that warranted?
Well, first I'll say this: if Deshaun has a publicist, that publicist either A need to be fired or need to quit. If they advise Deshaun to do this, they need to be fired. If DeShaun did this alone, they need to quit because they can't get other clients. Not be like, oh, you DeShaun Watson published and you let him do that, and they're like, no, no, he did that. No, we can't hire you now. First, I was hard on Todd Monken before I looked into this because I was one of the latter. What you said, K. Wall. Like, how in
Hmm.
the hell could Todd Monken allow this to happen? But I did a little looking into it. Again, this is still all opinion.
Hmm.
Cleveland's first two games are on the road. They're not
Yeah.
home till week 3. So you start Deshaun Watson, and if he messes up like he did Saturday, 6 for 12 with 37 yards, you can go ahead and yank him. So by the time you home, Shador is your starter. Again, that's just a theory. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but it makes sense. Secondly, I say, okay, you want some ROI, return on your investment. You pay this dude a gazillion dollars. His contract is up at the end of this year, but you still owe him for 2 more years, like 89 million for the way his contract is structured. You can't cut him because if you do, it's like an $86 million cap hit, the largest cap hit in history. Currently, Tua Tagovailoa has that, but this would be even bigger than that. So
Hmm.
that's one reason why you start him because you want some ROI. You got to see what he has.
Gotcha.
Not that it makes sense, but I can agree with it. Thirdly, and I think this is most important, if you start Deshaun and he's still the starter when they come home, you're going to have some fans yelling for the black up. And yes, I said black up because
Got,
that's
gotcha.
what you do. So you start Deshaun, they're gonna yell for Shador to come out there. You can't. They're not gonna reverse that. If you start Shador and Shador first 3 passes are interceptions, they're not gonna ask for Deshaun. They're just not gonna do that. So it's an easier transition to go from Deshaun to Shador than it is to go from Shador to Deshaun. But again, I think the major reason they start him, I don't know if it was the Monken or Haslam, the owner of the Browns. It's like, man, look at all the money we paying this dude. We need to get something out of that. I mean, because if it's Shador or it's Deshaun, or hell, if it's even Dylan Gabriel, we probably not a playoff team. So the only thing we can do is, try to get as much money as we can, sell some of these Shador jerseys, get some butts in the seat, whatever we got to do. Because, like I said, we're not a playoff team with none of the quarterbacks that we have on the roster. And again, if we don't start Deshaun right now, unless Shador gets hurt, we can never put him out there. So let's go ahead and give him these 2 games on the road. Just go and get that out the way. We snatch him and we go with Shador from there. But again, that's just a theory.
Gotcha. I got you, Jay. And to E's point, I mean, it sounds more political than anything. With this situation because of the history and the reputation that Watson has off the field and on the field as well, because he hasn't been in the last couple of years. But do you think this is more about that than it is Deshaun Watson being better than Shador? Is Deshaun Watson, in your opinion, better than Shador, or is Shador good enough where you can move on from Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, number one, I don't disagree with anything that E laid out there. I think all that could be plausible. But K well, in watching both preseason games, I didn't really see a noticeable difference. You know what I mean? Like to me, it wasn't like Deshaun was lights out and Shador was terrible. Like I thought just looking at it from my perspective that they both did okay. I didn't think either one really outperformed the other. I think the problem with this whole thing is it's clear that the fans just don't fool with Deshaun. Like
Yeah.
nothing he does is going to be good enough. It doesn't matter if he plays well; it's not going to be good enough for them. I saw a clip yesterday. He threw an interception like during one-on-ones, and the fans were cheering. They were going crazy because he threw a pick. And of course you can't let the fans run your football team, but it's obvious that it gets to him. So every time they boo him, every time they cheer when he does something bad, it's affecting his play. So I think in that scenario, if it were me, I probably would have just went with Shador. I don't see a noticeable difference. I would let Shador play and see what he has. And I think you put it in the chat a few days ago, K Walk.
Mhm.
Maybe try to move Deshaun. See if
Yeah.
there's a team that wants him. See if there's a team that'll take on the final year of that contract because I just don't see it ending well in Cleveland because nothing that he does is going to be good enough for those fans.
Yeah, man. I mean, great. I mean, excellent points. As always. Yeah, I just, I don't see a big difference in the play, but I think when you look at I mean, when you look at Deshaun, you know he has. There's a reason why he got that contract. I know that was some time ago, but there's a reason why he got the contract. That he got. Yeah. Granted, he two Achilles injuries, which it's not like I know they say that the best ability is availability, but it's not like Deshaun is, 1 week he's out with a knee injury, another week he's out with a shoulder injury. It's not like he's injury prone per se, but his injury is the same injury, and it's a severe one. It's a season-ending injury that he's been dealing with for the last 2 years. Look, I'm a Deshaun Watson fan, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm also a Shador Sanders fan. I'm just a fan of the black quarterback. I'm just that's just what it is. But in this situation, if you ask me, I think Sean is where you go. Now, if the fan base is going to be the way that they're going to be, and then the Cleveland Browns are going to, or the front the brass of the Cleveland Browns are going to kind of hint towards it should be Shador's team. We don't we want to get rid of this contract, things of that nature. I see why Deshaun is the way he is, man. I don't know any man who can handle that, regardless of how much money you're making. How much money you're making, that's going to get to you. Because if Deshaun didn't care, Deshaun wouldn't open his mouth. Deshaun would just get fined. He's got the money to pay the fines. Maybe he could just sit there and Marshawn Lynch this thing and say, "Listen, I'm just here so I don't get fined." That's why he could do that. He can make that move and enforce the brass. But I think he cares, man. I think he cares where he is, and a lot of people aren't giving him credit for that, and then making it more of the off the field issues than they are the on the field things. But I apologize, Kay, if I stepped on in anything you want to say. But what say you about this situation?
No, man, you spot on, man. Yeah. Um, it's so I kind of hate when people, without knowing background of the situation, you know, uh, they call folks sensitive sometimes. Now we don't know what Deshaun got going on mental. All we know is what was put out in the media and, what we seen on the field and ain't none of it been great. But
Hmm.
let's say, you know, it's just steps of life he's went through. You know what I mean? And to the public, it's looked bad, but behind the scenes, now, there's some things that's still questionable, but behind the scenes, follow me here.
I got you. I got.
Behind the scenes, there, there's some explanations to the situation. You know what I mean? So with the crowd booing him and everything, yeah, some people admit, man, this guy's sensitive. He in the media talking about how he feel, this, that, and the third. Man, just play football. But it got to him. You know what I'm saying? And he expressed himself. Now, as he said, did it look good? No. You know what I mean? But hell, like you said, K Walk, I think that's just his passion and his feelings coming out, man, and I think we'll see, as of week one, is he going to play this? Are they done for preseason? Or
No,
do they
I think
still have one more?
no. Everybody has one more. Everyone has one more. Last week,
Okay.
last.
I don't know how he's going to play in this last game, man, cause to me, with Fedor and him, I think the offense is a little shaky. You know what I mean? So the offensive line, I should say, is a little shaky. Now, will he get his wheels up on him or whatever? Well, that remains to be seen. But I think it's all just passion and feelings, man. So, I personally didn't read too much into it. I probably wouldn't have did it because it's public. Like Coach Sherm said, don't press in. You know what I mean? So, but I get it.
Gotcha, copy that. Now, E, let me one more here, and then we'll move on from this. But there are rumors, and I'm hearing rumors. I don't know if you guys heard anything that that possibly Shador may not be their future. There are talks about Arch Manning being their guy in the near future. After they moved on to Deshaun Watson. I think 2027. I think that's when Arch is coming out, and they're talking about him being their quarterback. So with those rumblings happening, if I'm hearing it, and I know Shador's hearing it. So how does Shador feel about this? What is the move? What do you feel as though Cleveland Browns future of their QB1 what do they want it to look like? I know they want the best quarterback, but is it Shador? And we don't feel like it's DeShaun, and unless you feel that way, or is it possibly Arch Manning? Your thoughts on the Cleveland Browns projection on the QB1 future?
Well, I mean, if you Shador, you can only, control the things that you can control. He just
Right.
got to go out and play the best football that he can possibly play. And, other than that, it's kind of out of his hands. And he doesn't have to be perfect on the field, but he can't get into any off-field trouble. None at all. I mean,
Right.
any
Down.
outfield any
Yeah.
outfield stuff is detrimental to his whole thing. If he goes out, he plays the best football he can, and then it may be a Arizona Josh Rosen situation. They drafted Josh Rosen in the first round. They saw one and they're like, oh hell no, we got to get on, we got to get on out of this thing, and they brought Kyler Murray. Now look where we at. Like, oh hell, again, oh hell no, we got to get up out, we got to get out of this, and now they out here with Jacoby Brissett. But that's a different story for a different day. So
Yeah. Go ahead.
if you're Shador, you can't really control this. And if I'm with you, I'm with what Jay said. You may want to try and move DeShaun because if a team takes him, I think they only have to pay his this year's salary or whatever. Because like I said, Cleveland is on the hook for those two additional years, like the $86 million. Kind of like when Miami got rid of Tua, they took a big dead money hit. But Atlanta only has to pay Tua like a little bit of money because Miami still owes most of that money. I guess they in the second apron, if you will. But
Yeah.
yeah, you got because like I think whoever is the permanent starter in Cleveland, then the other one got to go. If you're gonna ride with Shador, then you got to get rid of Watson. If you're gonna ride with Watson, you got to get rid of Shador. I mean, because you still got Dylan Gabriel over there. I know he's terrible, but he's
Yeah.
still up there nonetheless.
Yeah, I hope they deal DeShaun, man, because for one, it's going to sound like I'm disrespecting Cleveland Browns fan base. I know they're some of the most passionate and the most loyal, one of the most loyal fan bases out there. I'm not going to ever argue with that, but you just don't win, man. I mean, they don't have that winning mentality, and I don't know why someone of this, you expect someone Deshaun's caliber on the field. I'm talking strictly on the field, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a Browns fan out there listening, but why he would want to constantly hear that, why he wants to constantly hear when I throw an interception, I'm cheering, I'm getting cheers, and I get hurt, I tear my Achilles, and I'm hearing cheering. But when I'm doing something good, they're booing me. And it's like I don't want to be in that situation. They look. I don't. What is the Cleveland Browns' future here? What are they looking to do? They just traded arguably the best player in all of football, and that's on both sides of the ball. And Myles Garrett. I mean, what is their future here? And then you got you know two quarterbacks that could possibly they won't. I don't see. I'm not saying this is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, that could possibly beef with one another. I don't see these two dudes doing that, not at all. Shador Sanders or Deshaun Watson beefing with one another because that's not how they're built. That's not that how they're built. But I want to see Deshaun go somewhere else, maybe somewhere where he's appreciated, he can relax and not have to worry about making a mistake. But when you throw an interception in practice, I mean that's just practice, guys. Especially if you're going against your own defense, they know your tendencies, man. They really do. They know what plays you're going to call. They know where certain routes are going to be ran in certain situations. So I take that with a grain of salt. But Jay, any thoughts on Deshaun Watson? Any more thoughts on this? And
Let me,
how you
let
see
me
it playing out? Go ahead.
say this real quick, Well, I don't mean to minimize Watson's mental health issues like Kay brought up.
No,
He
no, no,
may
no.
may not. But I will say this as far as them booing him or them cheering when he tore his Achilles and them cheering at practice when he throws interceptions. Hey man, that's what the money for.
Yeah, they say money don't heal all wounds, but that's I don't
It
know.
may
I
not
that
heal. Hey, it might not heal, but it help a whole lot. The amount of money he got. I mean, hey man, look, they can boo me all they want to. I'm like
And he's
LeBron.
not wrong now.
I'm like LeBron. You gotta go back to your life,
Eh,
and then I'm going
Boo
back
me,
to
I
mine.
go buy a new car.
Yeah, so you
E
go back to
no,
your life. I'm going back to
but
mine. Mine is
listen,
way better than yours.
but if you have that money for so long and you're just used to that money, then now that just becomes a habit to you. Now and that other stuff you got to make yourself happy with. You're not just the money, man. I'm just saying, like, I don't want to hear anybody down. I don't care. Yeah, you can sit there and say, okay, well, you're terrible. You tore your Achilles. Oh, I got 200 million in the bank. That ain't gonna make my Achilles feel any better. That ain't gonna, you know what I mean? I get what you're saying, E.
Ain't gonna
I
make you
get what
feel
you're
any
saying.
worse either.
Yeah, you're right. You're right in that aspect. But at the same time, every man has a breaking point, brother. I'm just simply saying, man. That's hard to hear day in and day out, and from
No,
from
it
from
is.
so
That's
many
what
different
I'm saying.
people.
No, I agree. It is like you said. All of that's valid. But I'm saying that's why you get paid what you get paid, and you got to take some L's.
Okay. All right. I get it. E. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And I think maybe DeShaun, maybe his publicist probably said the same thing or something to that nature. Like, listen, man, you're in the limelight, you're here, so you got to be able to take that on the chin. You know, maybe they'll say something like, well, you had two torn Achilles injuries. So nothing should hurt more than that. So don't listen to this fan base. Maybe something like that went down, and that's why he went to the apology. Took the apology road, if you will. But Jay, okay, any thoughts on any final thoughts on this?
Yeah, man. The only thing I'll say is like I understand what E is saying about like, hey, that's why you make that kind of money. But I do agree, K Walk, like, but once you've had that money for so long, it's just you just get so comfortable with it
Yeah,
that it's just part of your life. I don't even know that you think about it in the way of someone who's trying to come up and get that bag. But the other
right.
thing, man, like athletes can be some of the most sensitive people, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking
As
about.
soon as you start criticizing, booing them, all that, like it don't matter. Like it hurts. It hurts them, and you can tell that it hurts them. So
Yeah,
get it. The money might make you sleep a little better at night, but I think at the end of the day, you want to be appreciated. You want the fans to recognize everything that you're doing, and when they don't, I don't know. This might not be any way around it. I think it hurts these guys, and you could see it on DeShaun's face when he made his initial statement. He was hurt by the boos and all the commentary about.
yeah. Okay, any final thoughts on this?
Nah, I mean, Jay right. I mean, shoot, man. Athletes can be sensitive. If I told you you couldn't catch right now, okay, well, how you feel?
Exactly. I'm going out there on the field to prove you wrong. I'm gonna send you a video to show
So,
you what I can do.
you know what I mean?
But you're right.
Uh, if somebody tell me I can't hear, hey, man, let's go out here in this rain right
That's
now.
what I'm saying.
Uh,
And it doesn't matter how old you are either, man. I mean, that it hits differently when somebody tells you you can't do something, or they boo you when you or when you do something wrong, or they cheer when you do when you cheer, or they cheer for you, excuse me, when you do something wrong. So, and that's why we see all these old men out here, these including myself, trying to get out there on the field, trying to prove, like, listen, well, I used to be able to do it, maybe I can still do it. And when someone tells you you can't do something, that hits differently for athletes, because athletes have that ego, man. And when you strike that ego, and it hits differently. So yeah, I agree, man. I agree. I just think Deshaun needs a different environment, a different venue, if you will. And even if it's a spot that he has to go to compete for a position like he is now, I think that he prefers that, go somewhere he's appreciated, even if he's not the starter. I think that's what he needs at this point. All right, good stuff there, guys. Let's do this. Let's grab our break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit on the week zero schedule, if you will, is coming up. We got college football this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Just want to touch on a couple of games. I want to touch on the 12 o'clock game with the North Carolina. And also K's Florida State Seminoles play as well. Just want to talk about those games. You know what we expect from North Carolina, Bill Belichick, what we expect from Florida State, and them as well. And then we'll get into our questions of the week. We got our top five play-by-play and color commentator duos of all time. Can't wait to hear these guys list. My list took a minute, ladies and gentlemen. To be honest with you, I'm probably still working on it, but we'll get through it nonetheless. All right, good stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know where you're at because you're here. It's Sports Talk with K Walk E. Scott, joined by good buddy Special K and special guest Jason Collins, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio.
This is Sam Drushkin, CEO and co-founder of Vintage Labs. You're listening to Sports Talk with K Walk and E. Scott. They're pausing for a break, but they'll be right back.
At Vintage Labs Collection, we are a multifaceted team of medical professionals dedicated to delivering the best quality products to patients. Our mission is to deliver the best supplement and patient outcomes in healthcare environments and consumer homes. Chat with our consulting pharmacist by visiting our website at www.vintagelabscollection.com. Supplements are not highly regulated, but Vintage Labs holds the standards higher than most.
Hey guys, this is Jaquan J. Kelly, aka Jamel Reef, Master Killer of Wu-Tang and American Saga on Hulu. You're listening to Sports Talk with K. Walk and E. Scott. They're taking a quick break and they'll be right back.
Over the past 60 years, Dove Beauty Bar's superior formula has remained unchanged. But when it comes to beauty, everything changed. Together, we redefined beauty. We said no to stereotypes and yes to every type. We let go of judgments and embraced what makes us unique. We're proud to have been there with you, caring for you every step of the way. Here's to the next 60 years.
It's Sports Talk with K-Walk and E. Scott, live and in replay. Join us live on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. But if you missed it, find the replay on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. We are everywhere on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You are tuning in to Sports Talk with K Walk and E. Scott, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio, joined by good buddy Special K and special guest Jason Collins. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, as always, if you're a long-time listener, E. Scott had another great one dialed up for us for the HBCU talk. Talked about the chaos in college football, if you will, ladies and gentlemen. Talked about the new rules that were that have been passed down. If you missed that, check out the replay. Also to talk to DeShaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. Gave our thoughts and opinions on that. Really good segment there, ladies and gentlemen. Again, check that out if you missed that. All right, E, accompany to us on this one, and we got week 0. We got some football this week, E, and some meaningful football. So we got football that's going to be it's relevant. It's going to it's going to count towards the team's season. It's not just that preseason stuff. But we got first we got the North Carolina Tar Heels. Excuse me, led by Bill Belichick, man. Your thoughts and opinions on this game? It's a 12 o'clock game, so we don't have to wait too long in the day to watch this game, E. But give me your thoughts and opinions on this game, and then how do you see it playing out?
Now, is game day live on campus?
That I don't know, E. That's a good question.
If game day live on campus, it's not a big game. But no, I'm so glad to have football back. I think this is a swan song for Belichick. Either, they make a decision on him or he decides to retire after this year if it doesn't go so well because, at his age, who really needs all this stress and stuff? Now, yeah, he put up with it when he was in the NFL, but that was more prestigious. His tenure at North Carolina hadn't been going so well, although they did win the ACC last year because, y'all here with that group of five mess, but I digress. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm just so glad to have football back. I don't know how Carolina going to do. I don't know what the squad is about over there, but I'll be excited. I'll be tuned in.
Yeah, it just I'm not sure. I don't think they're going to be there. Meaning that it's going to be aired on ESPN, but it's in Dublin, Dublin, Ireland. So I don't think the college football game day was going to be there.
I
But
know
they
it's Ireland. Maybe they
yeah
should
yeah
see me over there.
yeah they got TCU like the TCU Horned Frogs there, and they're not favored either. TCU is expected, to be in the mix, if you will, in their respective conference. But Jay, how do you see this one? How do you see this one playing out? Is Bill Belichick? He kind of alluded to it. Is this his swan song? Do you see him being here? Is this his last season as the head coach for the University of North Carolina? In your opinion?
Yeah, man, I'm excited like E just to have some football. I know that the slate of games in week zero isn't great, but man, just to get some college football, I'm watching. I do think this is the end for Belichick, K Walk. Obviously, they weren't great last year. I don't think they're going to have a really good team this year. I mean, they might win 5 or 6 games, but is that really why he's still coaching to just win 5 or 6 ball games? So
Right.
I do think this is his swan song. I think this is the end. I think even North Carolina is going to want to move on from him as well. So I could see in some kind of mutual agreement at the end of the season. And I think they're going to lose on Saturday. Kind of like you
Yeah.
alluded to, K.
Hmm.
TCU is supposed to have a good football team. It's hard to know in this day and age with all the movement and transfers and things like that. So I think they're going to lose on Saturday, and I think it's kind of like a precursor to the end of Belichick's coaching.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think that's what we're going to expect to see for the remainder of the year, especially in a competitive, not so much respected, but and nonetheless competitive ACC conference. But Kay, your thoughts on the 12 o'clock game? It's a it's a week zero game, but nonetheless it's a name game. You got Belichick, you got TCU as well. So how do you see this one playing out?
Uh, I mean, I ain't gonna let y'all beat up Belichick like that, man. Y'all gotta give Belly his respect. You know what I'm saying? Give Belly his respect. I think Belly gonna have a better season this year, than last year. I ain't gonna put him at the 5 and 7. I'm gonna give him a good 7-4. I don't even know how many games they got, but I know it's gonna be +10. So I'm gonna say they're gonna get 7 wins. You see what I did there?
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
Anyway. Yeah, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, I ain't gonna count Bailey out, man. I'm gonna think his coaching prowess is gonna step forward here. I think him getting that little 15 18-year-old girlfriend gonna help him out, get him some rap music and all that, man. He might even get him a new sweatshirt. But yeah, man, I think Belly gonna do better. Now, do I know that for a fact? No, I don't know what he got on his roster or whatnot, but things have been quiet around there. You know what I mean? Ain't been much noise made. And I have a hard time believing that he was quiet. When I say quiet, wasn't working in the off season after having a season like he had last year. So I imagine that North Carolina is going to be better. With that said, TCU by 20.
Oh man, see, exactly. He ain't gonna disrespect him, but TCU by 21. Good stuff there. All right, next game I want to talk about here, man, and I'll save you for last one. This one, K, because I know this is your squad. But hey, we got the Florida State Seminoles. They're in Doak Campbell Stadium, Tallahassee. They're hosting the New Mexico State Aggies. Week zero game. We talked about Florida State. We touched on Florida State a little bit. They're not ranked, but nonetheless, they're Florida State. So it's a week zero game, 7 p.m. Uh, how do you see this game playing out? And if you want to touch on a little bit of the Florida State season right now, I know it's a little early, but nonetheless, the game itself, how do you see this one playing out?
So Kay said we're not gonna be able to disrespect Belly, as he called him. And we were, maybe it's his swan song, maybe it's not. But it's definitely Norvell's swan song. If he Herman Boone from Remember the Titans. If you lose one game, I think the only way he can save his job, he got to win a natty. Yeah, dog. They sick of him in Tallahassee. So yeah, I'm gonna say Florida State's gonna win this game because they have to. Plus, I'm not really familiar with New Mexico State football, but yeah, that's a good week 0 matchup for them. I think they get it done, but like I said, yeah, his seat is real warm up in Tallahassee.
All right, Jay, your thoughts on this game and the Seminoles as a whole as well.
Yeah, I agree with E. I think they win this weekend. I think Florida State's going to be better, to be honest with you, because they do have good players, but just for whatever reason, they just haven't been able to put it together. And again, like he said, look, Norvell has no room for error, none. So, I mean, he needs to go out and win big and kind of get that thing rolling because if there's any foolishness that happens, I think they're going to run him up out of there. But look, I hope Florida State is good. I think college football is better when some of those traditional powers are good
Yeah.
and kind of in the mix. So I hope they're good. I think it'll make for a more exciting season if Florida State is back on the.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, I agree. Before I let Kay go, yeah, I agree with you guys. I think they'll pretty much handle New Mexico State. Again, I think there's a lot on the line for Norval, and I think the players know it as well. So they're going to come out there and they're going to fight for for their coach and for themselves as well. Not just the coach, because of the fact of the matter is it's everything you guys mentioned. It's Florida State. It's a name brand school. Looking at their schedule, I mean they have a decent schedule. I mean a schedule where they could win, but you can see some losses here. I mean, on New Mexico State, I see them winning that game. SMU, you never know with the SMU what they're going to bring, but they're both games at home, so I'm thinking that Florida State should handle business there. But then they have the bye week, and then they got Alabama that third week, Alabama and Tuscaloosa, excuse me. So that's going to be an interesting game, and it's going to be a litmus test to see exactly what they're about. And the list goes on and on. I'm not going to run down the whole schedule at this point, but it's the ACC schedule, and they got my Florida Gators at the end. But yeah, I see them winning this game. I see. I see it's going to be a week to week thing for them. I think no game is going to be a blowout for them. Maybe with a couple of with Central Arkansas maybe, but they have a legitimate schedule. So Norville seat may if it's not hot now, if it's not warm now, it would be by week 3. But Kay, your team, your thoughts.
Yeah, man. So yeah, it's my squad, so I expect great things, but I'm not a fan of Norvell.
Oh, wow, okay.
I felt like Norvell needed to be gone a couple of years ago, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Now I'm a little salty with how they did Willie,
Yeah.
so, I was holding them to the same standard, but this year, to say it lightly, a Bible Belt state, one of them,
Gotcha.
Jimmy states,
Gotcha.
if you understand what I'm saying. So I'm really not surprised at how that all worked out, just to be honest with you. Even if he has a bad year, I highly doubt they would fire him, throughout the season. It would be an end of the year thing. So, unless the only way he would get fired in the middle of the season is if we is to get shellacked by Miami. That would be the only way. Other than that, and he'll make it through the season. Now, with that said, I think we got enough coming back, um, to be better than decent. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna say we're gonna make no run and nothing like that. I'm gonna be honest with it. I ain't gonna go that far. Not yet. I need to see what we looking like, but we should be decent, especially on defense. Now, offense had to replace some pieces as far as wide receiver and quarterback and running back, things of that nature. But the quarterback that's coming in or expected to start is Daniels. I'm trying to remember his first name, but I can't. But from what I've seen, little practice highlights and things of that nature. He moves pretty good. I don't know where he gonna be up under fire, but he moves pretty good. I can't wait to see how we look Saturday night. So I'll see, if cause being who we are, these first two games, and I expect I'm a true Florida State fan, man. So I expect 42 points. You know what I'm saying? A piece. We got New Mexico State and SMU first two games. And then we got to go to Alabama. You know what I mean? Now if we come out of this 3-0, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna start talking noise. So be well. But if we look shaky, man, I'm gonna be on the other side of the fence, real hot. Like we'll get my paper bag ready, but I expect great things, man. Because of the pieces that we do have coming back, not because of our coach. Um, However, what I'm gonna say for New Mexico, man, I got us putting up 35. Now will we hold them under a good 10, 20, looking like a dominant team that we should look like against the New Mexico State? Remains to be seen, man. Again, that's all because I'm not confident in Norvell. But hopefully those players feel a little salty about how last year and the returning players anyway and show a little pride and come out and at least have the effort of a traditional Florida.
Gotcha. Okay. Now look, just looking at the line right now, looking at the line, it's 31 and a half, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I
is
say
that,
35.
yeah, you meant 35 as far as that's how many you're gonna win by, or how many you're gonna score?
No, I said we'll get 35, right?
Yeah.
But my first thought is we should hold them under 10. So I didn't know what the
Okay.
line was, but
July 32,
I'm
yeah.
I'm spot on. You
Okay.
know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Okay. All right. You're right there. So with that being said, I'm gonna take the under. I'm gonna say that New Mexico State covers. I'm gonna say based off of what you said, because you usually spot on with that. So
Listen,
but yeah, good stuff
Spoken
there.
like a true lizard.
Oh, who true?
Uh,
Who? No, I didn't hear
yeah,
what you said. True who fan?
I said Liz.
Well, yeah, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I can't wait to talk about that. That's gonna be interesting. All right, good stuff there, guys. Good stuff. All right, let's get into our question of the week here, and
so
I'll turn it
what
over
we're
to you.
asking for
You
are
presented
your
this,
top
so
five
you came up with
sports
this. So I'll
duo
let you take it
commentator play
over. So
by
with that
play
being
of all
said,
time.
take it away,
And I
brother.
had my list pretty set. And then K Walk, you sent out a message saying you were struggling coming up with only five. So I revisited. My list ballooned. I got several OLIs, so I won't hold you. I'm gonna get right on into it. First OLI, I got Joe Davis and Greg Olson,
Right?
mainly because I'm not really a big fan of Joe Davis, but I really like Greg Olson, and I thought he got the short end of the stick when Tom took his number one spot. Second OLI,
Okay.
Howard Cosell and Frank Gifford, and if you want to throw Dandy Don Meredith in there, you can too. Old school Monday Night Football. Another OLI, Marv Albert and the Czar, Mike
Mm,
Fratelli. One of the big fans of Mike Fratelli,
yeah.
he
No.
was good on the telestrator, but I love Marv saying the NBA on the NBC. Next, one more
Yeah.
OLI. Al
Mm.
Michaels and Chris Collinsworth. I know Al is since left NBC. Chris still there. A lot of people don't like Chris, but I kind of like him. And number five, Kevin Burkhardt and the aforementioned Tom Brady. I They do a good job, as the number one team on Fox. Next, I'm gonna go
Mhm.
to the NCAA. Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. I don't
Okay.
care much for Herbstreit on Thursday Night Football with Al Michaels, but he's pretty good on Saturday night with Chris Fowler. Number four, no, yeah, number three, Jim Nance and Anthony Romo.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
they about to put J in this spot because Romo, he in some trouble right now. Number two, Joe Buck and Troy on Monday Night Football. I really enjoyed
Wow.
them.
Wow.
And this one, I think, is
Yeah.
going to be the consensus number one between all four
Hmm.
of us. At least three out of four, because Kay like to do some different stuff. But Pat Summerall and John Madden. Pat Summerall was drunk most of the time, and he still brought it. And John Madden been dead 50 years, and we still got quotes and stuff from him. So yeah, the number one best to ever do it. Pat
Dang.
Summerall, John Madden. Jay, who you got?
That was good stuff right there, E. We definitely have some overlap.
Indeed.
I'm gonna go number five here, man, with my man Dick Vitale. And he was with a lot of different people. I got Mike Patrick down here, but
Oh
Dickie V
yeah.
worked with
Yeah.
a lot
Yeah.
of different people.
Yeah,
So for me, it's more about Dickie V. I didn't really care who his partner was, but when he first started doing that, oh, he's a diaper dandy and all that stuff. Dickie V, I'd be watching games just to hear Dickie V. So that's my first one. Coming in at number four, I'm gonna go with Marv Howard and Mike Fratello, like you mentioned. E, they're at number
this
four
I
for
was
me.
so sad.
At number three, I went with Howard Cosell and Frank Gifford. I just used to love Howard
Yeah.
Cosell's voice, man. He had a great voice. Uh, at number two, I had to go Keith Jackson and Bob
Mm.
Greasy
What?
because Keith Jackson would come on like "You are looking live at wherever they were." Like that. That was an iconic line. So I'm going
Good
Keith
stuff,
Jackson
Jay.
and Bob Greasy.
Special
And
K,
like
who
you
you
said,
got?
E, number one, I think we'll probably have a consensus. I went with Summerall and Madden at my top.
See, man, this is one that I'm really wasn't gonna be good at, man, because I really don't pay attention to the whole booth of commentators. I'm just on the main person calling the game. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with the one names that I remember or that stood out to me or whatever. Uh, I'm number five. I hate putting them at number five, man, because I don't think even with John Madden, man, like it's a 1A, 1B for me. I don't think nobody excites you more in the game than Dickie V. But I'm putting him at five because I'm not a big college guy. You know what I mean? But yeah, five is Dickie V. Number four gonna shock a lot of people, man, but y'all might understand, man, because I like a little comedy. But Bill Walton, you know what I'm saying? Bill Walton was pretty good for me, man. He's always you know what I'm saying? And doing some wild ish. You know what I mean? So yeah, Bill Walton, number three. I mean, number four. Number three,
I
um,
agree.
this may shock you as well, but I like Reggie, man. Reggie Miller, that is. I forget the guy name that he's with all the time, but man, I like, yeah, I like the way Reggie, yeah, he call the game, man, and he has true excitement, man. So that Reggie is my three. My number two, I think he got fired, but Anthony, as he called it, Anthony Romo, man, Anthony be calling the whole play before the play snap. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I like Tony, man. I mean, he make me laugh. Um, and number one, man, is the GOAT, man. Come on, man. They named the game after. You know what I'm saying? Like, is there any questions?
Tell you what, put a ball on the phone.
You know? Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Yes, sir, man. Yeah, I kind of did what the OL lies. I kind of did what Jay and K did, but this is for the OLIs only. I did the singular guys, Gus Johnson. I think Gus Johnson is arguably the most underrated commentator. I know that he got fired, let go from CBS for saying that he has running from the cop speed. He got let go from that. So I went with him there. OLI, Brent Musburger. I think Brent Musburger did an excellent job on ABC with the with college football. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, as you mentioned. Also another OLI. I couldn't get him in. I wanted to, but back in the day, Jim Nance and Billy Packer, man, and Billy Packer. The first thing he says is, your University of North Carolina starts out Minuteman. So that was my thing there. Or was that Bill Rafter? But none of Bill Rafter. I'm sorry. But five, I went with Marv Albert and Mike Fratello. Back in the day, I think they on the NBC or TBS wherever they were on. The czar, the voice of the NBA at the time, Marv Albert when he wasn't biting people, and and Mike Fratello, the czar of the telestrator. My guy, I like those guys. Number four, back in the day, CBS, man. I just remember these guys, Dick Stockton and Bill Rafferty, when they used to, when Isaiah and Larry Bird and those guys used to go at each other. Just that generation in itself was outstanding to me. Number three, I went with Keith Jackson and Bob Greasy as well, Jay. I like that. Everything that you mentioned. I always loved Keith Jackson saying, oh Nelly. So that was my guys back then. Number two was, even though I couldn't back in the day, I couldn't really stay up for the games because I couldn't hang. But Monday night, my favorite with Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, and Dan Dierdorf. Man, they brought it every single Monday night. Man, they did not
Yeah,
disappoint.
man, that
And
was
number
good
one,
stuff. I
it's a
was
consensus. You already know
listening to
who I'm
something about
going with.
something the other day.
It's
What made
Pat
me think of
Summerall
this
and
because
and John Matt.
and I've always been a long proponent of, especially when it comes to football. It's probably true in other sports too, but we don't really watch for the commentators. Like commentators don't really move the needle. Like I can't understand why Fox gave Tom
Mhm.
Brady $1 gazillion because even if the commentator is bad, you're just gonna turn it down and still watch the game. But there are some guys that are really good, and I just wanted to shine a little light on them, even though they might not be needle movers. But yeah, I just don't think,
Mhm.
as far what I've seen, you can't do it better than Summerall and Madden. And like I said, Summerall was sitting there drunk most of the time, and that's not me speculating. That's something he said. This is the Brett for real. He said, "Yeah, man. In my early days, I was drunk most of the time." He had steps in rehab, so this is not something I'm making up. So to be drunk, no, he said it. No, he has said it. Yeah, yeah. He has said that he's been in rehab
I want to
and
say
that, he had a drinking
that's the
problem.
second
So
time he
yeah, this
said
is
that.
not
So
me
do you
making
have
that
proof
up.
of that?
So to
Not proof, but really? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I never heard that. Okay. Hey, that's old school. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that completes our question of the week. Our top five, our top five play-by-play and color commentators, duos of all time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into we'll forego our knuckleheads of the week and get into E. Scott's entertainment segment. If we do have time after E. Scott's entertainment segment, we'll get into our knuckleheads of the week. But let's dive right into it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, if you're a long time listener, you already know. If you're a first time listener, stay on your toes. It's time for E. Scott's entertainment segment right here on Sports Talk K Walk E. Scott. Never had it so good sports radio.
It may not mean nothing to y'all, but understand nothing was done for me. So I don't plan on stopping at all. I want this shit forever, mine, ever mine, ever mine. I'm shutting shit down in the mall and telling that girl she the one for me. And I ain't even planning to call. I want this shit forever, mine, ever mine, ever mine.
It was
I heard.
no. It was a tie. I let her have it. So let's no. Come on now, don't spread the false rumors now. But hey man. Right there you go. All right, I always start with number one. Let me find my list here. Hold on, where's my numbers? Where my numbers at? All right, give me number one. uh, Sound like a trick question, but 10 feet. Final answer. Okay.
13. Wimbledon. Final answer.
That would be the French Open final.
Hey, Jack.
Give me number uh 26.2 miles final.
All right, give me number 20. Three balls and two strikes. Final answer.
What? Stand. Final.
I'll take number three. 100 yards final.
All right, give me number four. Football players, 22. Final answer.
Uh, Wimbledon. Final answer.
Number five. Say that you broke up. Say that one more. Love final answer.
All right, give me number seven. Six. Final answer.
Uh, 50, 50.
1-5. Yeah, yeah, 1-5. He said 1-5. Yeah, yeah.
That's a trick question. Uh, 30.
Okay. Well, based on how it's going, I'm going all
Why not?
18 final answer.
All right, give me number 19. 643 is the shortstop, second baseman, and first baseman. Final answer.
Uh, three. Final.
Give me 16.
16 is a daily? I thought 16 wasn't gone.
No.
Oh no, it's not. My bad.
I'm a risk 50. Is it 30 now? I'm gonna say 30 final.
All right. All right. What is it? What is it? E? What's the daily double? I don't know. I try by Jenna. I try by K. Joe. Give me number 17. 17. 30. Final answer.
All
All right, give me number 300 final answer.
All right. Give me number 9. 53. Final answer.
I think it's
Have
just 8.
no 13. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah. He always takes 13. My bad.
shit. Um,
No, he didn't.
boy, you got me there. 20. Final.
This is a good question. There was 12. I think they added 2 this year, so I think it's 14, but I'm not sure. But I'm gonna just go
See, I
14.
ain't want to go there.
Oh man, you gotta count.
Hello? Hello? E.
Yes, sir.
Well, you can tell everybody. Yeah, you can tell everybody. Go ahead and tell everybody. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. Yes, I am, yes, I am, yes, I am. I'm the man, I'm the man, I'm the man. I believe.
Good stuff, Jack. The home, he don't play home plate.
I'll tell you what, the one I didn't know that K Walk got was the baseball one about the 643 or 642, whatever that was. I did not know that one at all.
So why didn't you make that a daily double, bro? That should have been a daily double question. I'm just saying.
Hell, I wouldn't have got the bowling one, and that's it.
Man. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes E Scott's entertainment segment. E, you I want to this your segment, so you wanna add anything or close it out? All right. Indeed, indeed. We'll pause for the call. Sports Talk, K Walk, E Scott. Never had it so good. Sports Radio.
Hey, you knuckleheads.
Hey, you knuckleheads.
Walking down the avenue.
Walking down the avenue.
A few more streets and we'll be through.
A few more streets and we'll be through.
Fangtown, North MP, Park Heights, RNG, White Lock.
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Sports Talk with K Walk and E Scott, joined by good buddy Special K and special guest Jason Collins, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. Right, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear that sound, it's time for the Knucklehead of the Week. This is the part of the show where we call out someone or something on an absolute head scratcher, whether it's a pro athlete, corporation, or even one of us making a mistake. If it was baffling or just plain dumb, we're calling it out. No one is safe and no one is exempt from being our Knucklehead of the Week. So with that being said, E. Scott, or Jay or K, you guys got a Knucklehead of the Week?
Nah, I ain't got.
Okay. They usually don't. They usually don't, but I always have to ask nonetheless. So, E, let's get into it. Who earned your crown for Knucklehead of the Week? Mhm. All right. So with that being said, the Cleveland Browns organization. I'm just trying to find the imaging here. Where is that at? Come on, come on, come on. Cleveland Brown organization.
You big dummy. You big dummy. You big dummy. You big cold-blooded dummy. You big dummy. See what you did? Oh no, you big dummy.
Yeah, good stuff there. Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, we touched on it earlier, in the show. So I mean, if you guys missed that, ladies and gentlemen, please check that out. That segment there. But yeah, without questioning, I can see why they earned your crown for Knucklehead of the Week. My Knucklehead of the Week goes to uh, the owner of my San Francisco 49ers. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, no one is exempt from being my Knucklehead of the Week. But Jed York was was arrested for participating in prostitution. So basically, what happened was there was an advertisement on I don't want to say a popular, but a known prostitution website. And what happened was the authorities set up a sting there, an advertisement, and to offer a certain amount for an hour. I think it was first report was $140, but the most recent report I saw that it was $160. But nonetheless, Jed York, a billionaire, keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, uh, reached out to that advertisement to and for and solicited sex. Sex was solicited to an individual to meet up in a this is the part that kills me, to meet up in a trailer park. and to perform a sexual act for $160. It was $160 per hour. He answered it. This took place in Ohio, which he's a native of Ohio, and he was coming back from Ohio. He was in a rental car, saw the advertisement. He texted not once but twice. They never answered him that Saturday night. He then proceeded to text that morning. They answered it. He went there and he gave the name. I think he gave an alias named Joe. I think that's the name that he gave. But nonetheless, he went there and the authorities immediately arrested him, took him into custody. He pleaded to no contest, got like $1,100 fine, served 2 days in jail, and they confiscated or they kept $160 that was traded in that in that transaction. He's my knucklehead of the week, ladies and gentlemen, because you're a billionaire. I know he just filed for divorce from his wife in May, but you're a billionaire. Come on, man, a billionaire, and you can't find a better avenue to get I don't know to get your jollies, rock whatever you want to say, whatever saying you want to say. But come on, man, you can't meet someone, you can't get in the high price escort from an escort service, to go to a hotel, whatever the case may be, a lavish hotel. There's so many different avenues as a billionaire you could take to keep from putting yourself in this situation. So Jed York, I know he's the owner of the San Francisco 49ers, but at the same time, he's 45 years old, man. That's one of the most knuckleheadest moves of all time. If it's not a word, I'm gonna make it a word. Still E. Scott's saying there. But nonetheless, Jed York, man, that's just mind-boggling, head scratcher for sure. So Jed York, owner of San Francisco 49ers.
You big dummy. You big dummy. You big dummy. You big cold-blooded dummy. You big dummy. See what you did? Oh no, you big dummy.
Okay, makes sense. Right. Hmm. Say it. Right. Whatever it is, man. I don't know what it is. It's still knucklehead and Shanahan's a different story. That was a Tesla. That's a story for a different day. But he was driving. That was remote driving. But anyway, back to Jed York. Yeah, I mean you're a billionaire. Even if you got the money, you got a couple dollars, man. You can go to like an escort service. I'm pretty sure there's some legitimate escort services out there, and you can go to upper echelon establishment like I don't know, a Marriott, whatever the case may be. I don't know, but I don't get down like that. But I'm just simply saying, like, you have the money, you have the resources. If it can be covered up, then you can find somebody to help you. You got an assistant or assistant to an assistant, something that can help you cover this up so you don't get you on the website yourself. Come on, man. And then you go into a trailer park. That missed me with that, man. He missed me with that. Let's but JK, you guys have anything to add on to this nonsense?
Nah, but I like what you said. It's got to be the most knuckleheadest thing. And maybe the show, man, because like you said, K-Walk, you got that kind of money. Why are you answering an ad? You know what I mean? Like, don't you have somebody that could have set that up for
Thank
you
you.
if that's what you were really on? So I agree with E. I don't think this is his first time, man.
No,
I think he been this sort of cheap, slimy, answering ad type stuff all the time, and this is just that one time he got.
yeah, yeah. To each his own. Yeah, but I listen. I ain't knocking the dude for doing what he does, but listen, got to be more careful. He got to be more careful. That's all I'm going to say. Kato, good, good. No, yeah, yeah. Hmm. We got it from here. All right, good stuff. Any last words, JRK, before we close this out?
Nah, I think I'm good, man. Fun.
All right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay.
Bucks going to the Super.
Hold on now. I think you didn't hear K. K just said Bucks are going to the Super Bowl. He slid that in. All right, good stuff there. Good stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time that we have. Like
I
you
wish you
stated.
stop
Oh.
telling my
Stupid. All right, good stuff. All right, like I always want to do, I like to leave you guys with something positive. This evening, I'll leave you with this. Without commitment, you'll never start. But more importantly, without consistency, you'll never finish. All right. For E. Scott, I'm K Walk. I'm sorry, for E. Scott, Special K, Jason Collins, I am K Walk. For Sports Talk K Walk, E. Scott, right here on Never Had It So Good Sports Radio. God willing, we'll talk to you next week.
To the left, gold Dayton's on that thing. I'm the MJG, pimp tight. Put it to the flow, 5-0, swing her right in the peanut butter guts. It's a must. Drop it in the shop, take them out, wrap them up in a tent. Clear coast to make it shine. Make me circle through the neighborhood 55 times with my gas tank full. Drink a bull, fall up in the park, got the dog try to pull me a young, stout woman, something pretty, nice round hips with them well shaped